Alright guys, it's time to look at Lista Dao on the channel for the first time. Now this was a mega drop coin from Binance about 1 year ago, guys. I sold it at 63 cents. I really haven't looked at it since then, but it is pumping today. So let's just take a look at it. I'm not saying that this coin is good, but I do want to do a different coin finally because I feel like we're doing the same coins over and over and over. So now it did hit a low here at what? It is almost 11 cents flat. Now since then, it has been making higher lows along the way, so that looks pretty good. This trend line is actually holding up the price. And let's look at this on a 4-hour time frame. Now, we did have the last couple of 4-hour candles, pump. I'm not sure if there was some news in the last about, like 8 hours, 9, 10 hours or so since this candle began. Now, it looks like it's running out of steam, in my opinion. Because we're at an hour into this 4-hour candle, and it's a pretty doji candle, a very small candle. So let's take a look at the RSI and the stochastic. Now, I will look at the 4-hour, the 1 hour, and the 15, then I'll jump up to the higher time frames. 4-hour, a little bit overheated here on the stoch. It is starting to curve down. Maybe it's a little bit flat basically on the RSI here, so not that great. The 1 hour time frame, it looks overheated on the RSI and the stoch. 15 minutes is actually getting oversold, so that's not bad. But it is kind of flirting with being overbought here on the RSI. So basically, lower term time frames, not that great. 1 day pointed pretty heavily to the upside on both, and it is just getting out of this oversold territory on the stoch, so that's actually pretty good. The weekly, let's see if it's printing something here. Okay, yeah. It is a little bit overbought here on the stoch, unfortunately, and still pointed pretty heavily to the upside on the RSI. Now, is it printing a monthly? I don't know if it's been long enough. Actually, it hasn't been long enough, so nothing there, guys. So, in my opinion, the daily actually looks the best, guys, but the rest of this looks pretty overheated, I would say, mostly. So, I do think this could pump up a little bit more. Now, keep in mind, let me get this out of the way so we can look at this a little bit easier. This is a daily resistance, so it's not going to take too much to get through this. Now, the next one at about 30.26 cents, that is actually going to be a weekly resistance, and it's going to be a little bit tougher to pump through that. So I would like to see this pop through and get back into this area where it kind of consolidated for a bit. And yeah, I don't think it's going to pop above, 30 cents really. It probably will consolidate a little bit before making its next run. Now, let's take a look also at the volume. And let's do it in the visible range. Let's put this on a weekly time frame. Zoom out a bit here, guys. And yeah, let's take a look. I know there's a lot of lines here. It makes it a little bit difficult to see, but we are right here. And we're getting into a point where we're going to basically have a free ride up to about 30 cents. So that's not bad. Then we kind of get this, larger node, or we get these 4 candlesticks, basically, we can say. And that might take a little bit of push to get through. But keep in mind, we have gotten through the worst of it down here already. And basically at about 40, let's just say 44 cents, the volume kind of drops off a bit. So yeah, I do think Lista will definitely run after about, let's just say 58 cents. You kind of have this one little bit larger candlestick here, although you can see it is constantly just going down, of course, but still you do have a little bit larger volume here and just a little bit here. So yeah, once it gets across 58 cents, this is probably going to go up really, really, really quickly in my opinion. Now, I also want to look at the Bollinger Bands, guys. We don't look at this too much, but I just saw this, and you can see how wide it is here, guys. Very wide, but it is starting to come in on one another. Now, when it starts to squeeze on the Bollinger Bands, you tend to see a pop. And I do think this is going to pop eventually. I don't know how much more this will come in to squeeze, but yeah, whenever you see it like this, when it's coming in and it's very narrow, that actually is a good signal usually. Now, when it's very wide, you have pullbacks usually. So yeah, you can see It was a little bit wide here, a little bit more narrow right here, but it still fell down. But this is actually the most narrow it has been. So I do feel it is due for a little bit of a pop here. Now looking at the MACD on a weekly time frame, guys, you can see it was printing pretty much red candles, but it is printing dark green candles at the moment. And so far it does look like they are, getting bigger and bigger. And it is pointed pretty heavily to the upside here. So yeah, let's see. Now the highest it ever was 0.02. But keep in mind, this is, a very new coin, really. We can say still less than a year old, so it's still a baby in my opinion. Now on the daily time frame, let's just see. It is printing a lighter red candle, so that's actually a good sign, because usually after that you get a green candle, guys. It may take several lighter red ones, but usually you see green. As you can see, there's a pattern here: red, green, red, green, red, green. So you just have these patterns, and yeah, it does look like it is due for some green candles here on the daily on the MACD. Now I was looking at the volume for today, guys. It's not a huge green candle like this candle. It's not like this, and it's not like these three. But it is actually larger than most of the candles lately, guys. If you're looking at it down here, look at that dotted line that goes across to your left, basically. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much higher than most of the candles we've had or seen. And with the exception of a few spikes here and there. So there's something definitely going on. Now in the beginning, okay, you had all this selling and buying in Binance because everybody was hyped up about the coin. But you can kind of probably throw this out, I would say. And yeah, there aren't many days that were higher than this little volume candle. So yeah, it is getting a little bit more volume lately. And let's see if that trend will continue now. Now Lista is up about 17.5% today. It does have a 1 billion max supply. Circulating isn't that much, guys. 172 million, so that actually is pretty good as well. Total value locked, that actually looks pretty high. So yeah, let's go down here. Now the all-time high was 84 cents. Like I said, I sold it on the 20th of June at 63 cents. So you're getting about a 70% discount at the moment. Now, guys, I always talk about launch pool coins, mega drop coins, and usually most of those coins have dropped about 90, 95, 97%, guys. This actually hasn't dropped that much. I have to give this one credit. It may actually be a pretty good project, and if you do have it, and you kept it, hey, yeah, it probably wasn't a bad hold. Because yeah, I can see this is only 69.5% down. Now a lot of people will say, oh my god, that's terrible. That actually isn't that bad. I do have a list that I have all the mega drops and launch pool coins and where I sold. And guys, I would say pretty much all of these coins are under what I sold, and significantly. Now if it was a new coin like SOF, for example, it still hasn't had time to play out. And maybe some of these more recent coins, of course, but these historical ones like Lista, guys, these ones, for example, Manta, that one is terrible. But yeah, a lot of coins don't hold up this well, I can say. Now looking at Bitcoin, guys, it is getting a nice little 4-hour push here. We do have about 2 hours and 47 minutes still on this 4-hour candle, but we are above this green line here at 104,580. Now the weekly time frame, I just want to look at this where we closed. Actually, we did close last night about 105,638. So that actually is significantly above this line, and we are still above that line, but not as much as we were last night. Now this is just another retest in my opinion. And if we look at the monthly candle, guys, I should have pointed this out actually yesterday. We actually closed the highest monthly candle in May. So right now we're working on the next highest close, but of course it's only the 2nd of June, guys. There's still plenty of time. And yeah, once we get above 106,241, the next leg is probably on, guys. And then we only have 111,865 to get above after that. And I can tell you there's not much volume up here to really contend with. Now, there are a couple of pieces of news that have really pushed Bitcoin up and down today and have been significant. The U.S. seeks country's best trade offers by Wednesday, so that was one piece of news earlier today. And the most recent, which we got in the last couple of hours or so, the U.S. extends tariff pause on some Chinese goods to August 31st. So that's why you're seeing Bitcoin pump a little bit right now. And yeah, CME actually has closed, guys. It's at 105 basically. It's about $5 above that. Now, Ethereum, guys, it actually still doesn't look too bad. Looking at this on a 4-hour time frame, it's just still consolidating down here. But basically, you have this giant consolidation, guys. And this consolidation goes back to about the 9th of May. And we're still in this giant consolidation almost 1 month. So we are still making higher lows. Now, I did have a line here, the other day, but we're still, making higher lows. I moved this line over here now. So everything still looks good. We are still above this long-term trend line, guys. That was like 2.5 years. It's this yellow line. I could go back. Let me put this actually on a weekly time frame. It might be a little bit easier to see this and quicker. So yeah, you have this extending back to June of 2022. So we're still above that. That is actually excellent news. And yeah, we can see that the last few weekly candles, a little bit doji. Let me get rid of this so you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, let's see what happens this week. But we have had significant pressure to the downside selling when it comes to Ethereum. I think this is just going to be a lot of people who just want to, get their money out. They're tired of waiting for Ethereum to pump, and they're a little bit nervous probably. Now, the total market cap excluding Bitcoin is actually pushing up a little bit. 1.16 trillion, so that's pretty good. Dominance is actually coming down a little bit too. It is breaking this line that I usually call this like the cycle high, although I know this is technically the cycle high right now. But that was from, February 3rd, I believe it was, when we had one of the largest surges in Bitcoin dominance in history. So we hit that, and we are starting to break that now. So let's hope we can break this long-term trend line. This is like a 2-year trend line, guys, 2.5 years. And then we break 60.46, and we can celebrate. Now, altcoin season index, 18, so not that great. Liquidation heat map, actually pretty tame. 150 million have been wrecked in the last 24 hours, so that's pretty good. 64 on the fear and greed. Yesterday was a 50. I'm not sure why we're coming up so fast, but I would think that everybody is more nervous. And bull market peak indicator, sell at the top, is still 0 from 30. Still 100% hold, guys. And the Pi cycle top indicator, in my opinion, is the best one. It is starting to curve up here, but it does look like this line is trying to avoid it by going up. Now, tomorrow we have JOLTS job openings, guys, so keep your eyes open for that. Trade wars news basically was a little bit positive today. We did have this small piece of negative news, but pretty much it was mostly positive. Now, macro news today, kind of, I would say 50-50 until the end of the day when we got this piece of news, although it was just slightly different, guys, 48.5 to 48.7. It registered pretty heavily. Now, the Fed news today, mostly positive, actually, so that's actually pretty good. And when we talk about Ukraine and Russian war, it was mostly positive, I would say. We just have this one piece of news here that was pretty negative, but the rest of the day was actually not bad. So the FedWatch tools has gone down a little bit, so 95% believe we're not getting a cut now. The Trueflation shows 1.84 inflation, so in my opinion, what's the Fed waiting for? Crypto bubbles, guys, looking a little bit better today, so we're starting to see some green here and there. And now, if we take a look at, Coinondo, I did an 8-coin video last night, guys, but go here and check out Lista. I don't know if they have anything for Lista. They probably do, but yeah, I'm not going to search for it because I have just limited time to tell you. Like, subscribe, activate the bell, share this video with your friends, guys. If you can and you want, look at some of the exchange partnerships below that I have, guys. And if you use those links, it'll really help me out if you register and put money on those exchanges and trade. And I will get commission, of course. And anyways, like I said, like, subscribe, activate the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.